Do not spend $2,000 on a travel camera before seeing what less than $1,000 can already buy you. Around $400 gets you a camera small enough to disappear into a pocket. Around $700 can give you everything from a 30x travel zoom to a waterproof adventure camera. And near the top of the budget, you can get serious APS-C image quality without turning your vacation into a camera bag expedition. These are 10 cheap travel cameras under $1,000. And number one makes some much more expensive travel setups difficult to justify. You are watching Alt Buzz. Subscribe for camera rankings and buying guides that help you spend less and travel lighter. At number 10, we have the Canon PowerShot ELPH 360hs. Canon relaunched this at around $380. And here is exactly why it opens this countdown. The ELPH 360 is not trying to win by image quality or cutting-edge specifications. What it does is stay small enough to actually carry everywhere you travel. The 12x optical zoom covers 25 to 300 millimeters equivalent. Landscapes, distant monuments, and family moments all work perfectly without changing lenses or carrying anything larger than a deck of cards in your pocket. The sensor is small and the technology is dated, but a camera you carry everywhere beats superior specifications, sitting safe in your hotel room. The ELPH does not win because $400 buys incredible image quality. It wins because $400 buys incredible image quality, natural pacing, friendly authority, and engaging presence. If you want something slightly larger, number 9 replaces the compact sensor with APS-C and opens the door to an entire lens system without camera bag management. At number 9, we have the Nikon Z30 with the 16 to 50 millimeter lens. Nikon's smallest Z-series mirrorless camera weighs around 350 grams with an APS-C sensor and solid autofocus. 4K 30 video works. USB-C charging matches your phone. The articulating screen lets you film yourself easily. The Z30 enters the entire Nikon Z mount ecosystem, which matters far more than the camera alone. This is your first sensor-size jump to a larger format with real depth of field control and better low-light performance. The complete kit sits around $700 to $800. The trade-off? No electronic viewfinder to stay lightweight. That absence feels clever on bright beaches and frustrating under harsh sun. If you photograph landscapes or wildlife in bright light, you notice the missing EVF. If you film yourself or walk through cities, the rear screen works naturally and the viewfinder feels like a smart weight-saving decision. That trade-off lets the Z30 stay small while delivering professional sensor-sized travel photographers want. At number 8, we have the Sony A6100 with the 16 to 50 millimeter lens. The Sony keeps the electronic viewfinder. That matters for photographers shooting landscapes, wildlife, architecture, or bright scenes where rear screen glare creates friction. The Sony A6100 puts the viewfinder back and brings you into E-mount, arguably the deepest mirrorless lens ecosystem available. Tiny primes, affordable third-party options, compact zooms, wide lenses, telephotos, and fast portrait glass all exist. The body stays the same while the system changes. The 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor brings solid autofocus and tracking. 4K video works naturally. The included 16 to 50 power zoom collapses into a small package. Sony sells this kit for $949.99, under the $1,000 ceiling. The body is older by modern standards with no in-body stabilization. That is fine because this video is about travel value, not the newest flagship. You buy this because the camera, lens, and upgrade path fit inside a budget that newer Sony bodies already left behind. At number 7, we have the OM System Tough TG7. Around $650, the TG7 does what APS-C bodies cannot. It lets you stop asking if your camera is safe. Snorkeling, beaches, pools, kayaking, Rain hikes, snow, dusty trails, boats, and rough family vacations all happen. The TG7 is waterproof to 15 meters, shockproof from 2.1 meters, freeze-proof to -10 degrees, and crush-proof to 100 kilograms. You stop protecting the camera. That is the entire travel advantage. A $3,000 mirrorless sitting safely in a hotel room does not outperform a TG7 actually underwater capturing ocean moments. The sensor is small with 12 megapixels. The zoom covers 25 to 100 millimeters. You are trading image quality for access. On certain trips, access is worth more than sensor specifications. 4K video works. 5-axis stabilization keeps handheld footage smooth. USB-C charging works. The real value is not hesitating before pulling the camera out in difficult conditions. The TG7 is not the camera you buy because the sensor is better. It is the camera you buy because the trip gets worse for cameras than people. Sometimes the most useful travel feature is simply not having to put the camera away. At number 6, we have the Canon EOS R50 with the 18 to 45 millimeter lens. Probably the easiest mirrorless camera to recommend to first-time buyers. The R50 uses a 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor with dual-pixel CMOS AF2 autofocus. 4K 30 recording is oversampled for better video quality. The body runs around $700. The 18 to 45 kit lens adds $150. You get APS-C mirrorless with EVF and interchangeable lenses under $850. It lacks in-body stabilization and has small controls, with RFS lenses still maturing. But it gives beginners enough real camera to grow into without carrying what they might eventually own. It works for families, theme parks, city travel, and people wanting a viewfinder without professional gear shock. It is for someone saying, "I want better vacation photos but not photography," as the vacation. At number 5, we have the Olympus OM DEM10 Mark IV with the 14 to 42 millimeter EZ lens. The story stops being just camera and becomes system. OM System prices this kit at $899, 99 cents regular, cheaper during promotions. The body uses a 20 megapixel micro four thirds sensor with 5-axis in-body stabilization. The 14 to 42 EZ lens collapses into a compact package. Micro four thirds remains the deepest ecosystem for tiny lenses that work. Pancake zooms, tiny primes, compact telephotos, and lightweight wide lenses all exist. Stabilization lives inside the body, not the lenses, so every lens becomes stabilized. 5-axis IBIS makes handheld travel easier. When museums ban tripods, city streets darken, interiors dim, or sunsets stretch shutter speeds. The sensor is smaller than APS-C, with older autofocus. That is acceptable because travel rewards system size, not just sensor size. The EM10 Mark IV is camera, stabilization, and lenses understanding one assignment: stay small enough to come with you. At this point, spending more has not automatically made the cameras better for travel. The ELPH 360 fits in a pocket and disappears from your thinking. The Z30 and A6100 bring APS-C into lightweight kits without requiring camera bags or complex systems. The TG7 can go places expensive, mirrorless bodies need protection from, opening entire categories of travel experiences. The R50 makes serious photography easy for beginners and families. And the EM10 Mark IV adds stabilization without building a large system around your neck and back. But the final four remove even more friction from the travel photography experience. One replaces an entire lens bag with a 30x zoom built into the body. Another is specifically built around travelers who prioritize video creation. Number 2 can replace both a camera and a gimbal at the same time. And number 1 stays under $1,000 even with a usable travel lens included in the box. If you like camera rankings that focus on what actually makes sense for your money, subscribe to Alt Buzz right now. We build these lists around real travel situations and authentic use cases. not marketing hype or affiliate incentives. Our links in the description help you comparison-shop prices across different retailers. And our website link is also in the description, giving you early access to new videos and deeper gear stories that go beyond what we can fit in these longer reviews. Core membership starts at $5 and gives you member-only gear insights. Elite membership is $10 for full priority access. Either one helps you spend smarter on camera gear and travel equipment. At number 4, we have the Panasonic Lumix ZS99. Panasonic prices this at $697.99. The Leica-branded lens covers an extraordinary 24 to 720 millimeters equivalent. That is 30 times optical zoom in a single, compact body. Think about what this range means for travel. 24 millimeters handles buildings, landscapes, interiors, and groups. Mid-range covers family, food, street, and portraits. 720 millimeters handles wildlife, distant mountains, architectural details across city blocks, boats, performers, and subjects separated by streets or valleys. That is enormous visual freedom without packing additional lenses. 5-axis hybrid OIS Plus keeps video stabilized. 4K recording works. USB-C charging works. The tilting screen lets you compose from unusual angles. One body, one lens. No glass bag, no sensor cleaning during lens changes. No asking which lens you should have brought. The ZS99 is the purest travel camera concept on this countdown. Here is the real trade-off. The sensor is small. The ZS99 buys enormous focal range by sacrificing larger sensor image quality that mirrorless cameras offer. In low light, dynamic range suffers. High ISO shows grain. Shallow depth of field becomes harder. The compromise shows when printing or exporting full resolution. The ZS99 is for travelers who would rather compromise on sensor size than compromise on what they frame. 24 to 720 means the lens bag disappears before the trip starts. If you are creating serious travel video alongside stills though, number 3 solves a different problem. At number 3, we have the Canon PowerShot V1, around $899 at major retailers. It uses a 22.3 megapixel 1.4 type sensor with a built-in 16 to 50 millimeter equivalent f2.8 to f4.5 lens. Optical stabilization is built in. An ND filter is built in. Canon Log 3 recording works. 4K video is serious. National Geographic's 2026 travel camera testing named the PowerShot V1 their best compact camera for vlogging. The V1 is not a traditional photographer's compact. That is precisely why it belongs here. The 16mm equivalent wide end is built for self-filming, walking footage, hotel room videos, food, markets, architecture, group shots, and handheld travel storytelling. Because the lens is built in, you do not change lenses. You do not buy additional glass. You do not pack extra gear. The setup stays faster. The workflow stays simple. The 1.4 type sensor is considerably larger than tiny pocket zoom sensors, so video and stills hold up better in available light. The camera forces a fundamental question about travel priorities. Do you photograph the trip, or document yourself experiencing it? The V1 becomes much more compelling for the second traveler. It is not trying to photograph everything on the horizon. It is trying to make sure you document the trip without turning the trip into a production. The lens caps at 50mm equivalent, which limits wildlife, distant landmarks, telephoto details, and compressed landscapes. There is no electronic viewfinder, which matters if stills first. But for travelers whose priority is smooth, self-facing travel video, the PowerShot V1 solves the problem better than cameras 3 times the price. At number 2, we have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. DJI prices the standard Osmo Pocket 3 around the mid-$300 range depending on promotions. That price point alone changes what this camera means for travel. It combines a 1-inch sensor, 4K up to 120 frames per second, a 3-axis mechanical gimbal built directly into the body, a 2-inch rotating touchscreen, and active track subject tracking. For travel video, this removes equipment. That is the entire argument. A conventional camera approach needs a stabilized lens, in-body stabilization, a separate gimbal, mounting plates, balancing adjustments, a larger camera bag, and setup time before shooting anything spontaneous. The Pocket 3 gives you camera, lens, mechanical stabilization, and subject tracking inside something that fits in a pocket. Walking through cities becomes fluid. Family vacations capture smoothly. Hotel tours look professional. Food markets film beautifully. Train journeys turn cinematic. Hiking footage flows without jerks. Talking to camera feels natural. Vertical social content works perfectly. The Pocket 3 can completely change how much video you capture, because the friction between wanting to film and actually filming nearly disappears. Now, this is still a top 10 travel cameras video, not travel vlogging only ranking. The Pocket 3 is weaker for someone prioritizing conventional still photography, raw workflows, interchangeable lenses, telephoto reach, traditional EVF shooting, or classic camera controls. That leaves room for number 1. For travel video, the Pocket 3 does something expensive cameras often fail to do. It removes equipment instead of adding it. The cheapest gimbal is the one you never pack because the camera already has one built inside. At number 1, we have the Fujifilm XM5 with the 15 to 45mm lens. This must do what the Pocket 3 cannot. It must remain small for travel, serious for photography, flexible for video, expandable to grow with the owner, and stay below $1,000 with a lens. Fujifilm prices the XM5 with the XC 15 to 45mm lens at $999 at B&H Photo. National Geographic's May 2026 travel camera test named the XM5 their best budget compact camera for travel, after their engineering team tested 26 cameras over 4 months. That validation supports the ranking, but AltBuzz needs its own argument. The XM5 gets closest to balancing all 5 travel priorities at once. First, image quality. The 26.1 megapixel APS-C X-Trans CMOS 4 sensor gives considerably more photographic flexibility than small sensor travel zooms and rugged compacts. Second, size. The body remains extremely light and genuinely pocketable with the right bag. Third, lens flexibility. The included 15 to 45 zoom gives a compact starter option, but X-mount opens the door to tiny primes, wider lenses, travel zooms, portrait lenses, and telephotos without replacing the camera. Fourth, video. 6.2K recording and serious modern video modes give creators far more room than traditional entry-level cameras. Fifth, price. The body and lens kit lands at $999. That is the payoff promised by the title. The XM5 is newer than the A6100. It feels lighter in design. It is stronger for modern video. It is highly appealing for straight-out-of-camera JPEG workflows. It positions almost perfectly at the price ceiling. The XM5 lacks an electronic viewfinder and in-body stabilization. These are real compromises. For photographers shooting through an EVF, the R50, A6100, or EM10 Mark IV may genuinely be better. For handheld low-light work, the EM10's 5-axis IBIS matters. That honesty strengthens the final recommendation. The XM5 wins because the compromises are unusually small compared with how much camera fits in a $999 kit. $1,000 buys much larger cameras. The XM5 proves that for travel, larger is not necessarily where value is. If you had $1,000, one carry-on bag, and no idea what the next trip involved, the XM5 is the camera leaving the fewest important doors closed. So which one should you actually take on your next trip? The answer depends on what your trip looks like. If you value a pocket and long zoom over maximum image quality, the Canon PowerShot ELPH disappears into your jacket. If you want lightweight Nikon APS-C without an electronic viewfinder, the Nikon Z30 keeps you mobile. If you want APS-C, an EVF, and one of the deepest lens ecosystems, the Sony A6100 fits the budget. If your trip means water, hiking, snow, and rough conditions where fragile gear becomes risky, the OM System TG7 lets you stop worrying and start photographing. If you are buying your first serious interchangeable lens camera and want an approachable entry point, the Canon EOS R50 makes photography feel accessible and uncomplicated. If you value in-body stabilization and tiny lenses that stay small, the Olympus EM10 Mark IV with the 14 to 42mm offers that exact balance. If you want maximum focal range without lens changes, the Panasonic Lumix ZS99 covers 24 to 720mm in one body. If your priority is serious travel video without an interchangeable lens kit, the Canon PowerShot V1 keeps your setup simple. If travel video with built-in mechanical stabilization matters most, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 removes the gimbal you might otherwise purchase. And if you want the strongest overall balance of sensor, size, video capability, future lens options, image quality, complete kit price, and genuine flexibility, the Fujifilm XM5 makes the argument for staying under $1,000 completely clear. A travel camera should make the trip easier to photograph, not make the trip revolve around camera equipment. Spending another $1,000 might buy a larger sensor, faster autofocus, better stabilization, or a more professional body. None of those upgrades automatically make a camera easier to carry through an airport, safer on a beach, faster to pull out on a street, or more likely to be with you when something worth photographing happens. The best cheap travel camera is not the one that feels cheapest. It is the one that saves enough money, weight, and frustration that you stop thinking about the camera and start paying attention to the trip and the people and the moments happening right in front of you. If you had $1,000 for your next trip, which camera would you pack? The XM5, Pocket 3, ZS99, R50, or something else entirely? Tell us in the comments below. We read every single comment, and we actually answer the ones that need real answers. Super thanks help us keep making these videos better every single week, and we genuinely appreciate every single super thanks donation. Subscribe to AltBuzz for more detailed camera rankings, buying guides, and gear stories that go much deeper than specifications alone. Thank you for watching AltBuzz.